Hi everybody, I'd like to welcome you to a video about how the rubric works. And what you're looking at on this screen is the rubric I will be using to grade Essay 1. It's a pretty straightforward rubric. It is kind of detailed. Your high school teachers would have used something not quite as detailed as this, but still similar. And so when I'm looking at your paper, I'm going to be looking for these different aspects of it, and I'll be sending you a copy of this so you can see what I thought were problems. Okay, so let's go back and look at the example we had in class. See this paragraph right here? Okay, now this paragraph was a good paragraph, okay, but it's missing some key things. It doesn't clearly mention Octavia Butler and Bloodchild, which is something that is required in the rubric. So when we come over here, and I'm going to grade, it says your introduction directly and fully answers the prompt. Octavia Butler and Bloodchild are clearly stated, is interesting and logical. So it doesn't quite follow the prompt, but it is an interesting and logical introduction. So in this case right here, I would give this one a B minus. But the clear reason for the B minus is that Octavia Butler and Bloodchild are not clearly mentioned. Okay, it would have scored higher had that information been involved. Now I want to show you. See this B minus here in a score out of 100, right there, that was 4 points. Okay, so you can see what's going to happen. The way this is graded, it's basically death by 1,000 cuts. Okay, so let's look at that paragraph again. Why you are writing your essay is clear, concise, and obviously applies to who you are as a person. When we go back and look at this, we can see I'm writing this letter because my professor told me to, right? It applies to you as a person. An interesting topic I'm learning about, and I'd share some of it with you. Okay. We have traveled quite a few places, more than I, and probably missed a lot of deeper meaning in the creations we saw. This right here applies to you as a person, and as far as I know, we've never taken the time to appreciate art. This applies, so that's why this is important. So this right here, yes, it did apply to you as a person. So it could be stronger. See right here, clear and concise. It's not exactly clear, but it is, clear enough. So I would give this an A minus. Okay, see 7.91. Your introduction comes across as conversational and focused letter to your mother. Yes. So this is an A. Okay. And your introduction is only 4 sentences long. That's not true. That's not. So right here, let's see. I'm going to give it that would be a B for sure. So, so right here, this portion, the introduction paragraph, is an 87%, which is worth 13.11 points. Do you see how that works? So we move on to the next part, which was this paragraph. You remember how we went over this in class and some of the problems with it. So let's take a look how it works in the rubric. So right here, we've got the definitions paragraph. It's called a narratio. That's the actual Latin word for it. Your narratio quotation clearly defines effective altruism. So let's go back here. This is how he used effective altruism. In that time, he learned that simply put, EAs reduce suffering and increase lifespan and happiness. That's it. Nothing else matters. Okay, this is defining what EAs want. After thinking about it, I realized that time among people different from ourselves can give us a perspective on how it shows values. This is a sort of definition. Okay. An EA is an effective altruist, so that's defining effective altruist. Their approach to life, called effective altruism, is the belief that our purpose is to help those in need instead of doing what makes us happy in our own lives. So right there, that clearly defines, right there in the context section, clearly defines it. The quote, not so much, but this does. So, and then spend time with effective altruist, I thought were kind of weird if you asked me. Okay, so right here, and then since so we got all this context information, which does clearly define effective altruism, but the quote doesn't. Okay, the quote is a little vague. So your narration quotation clearly defines effective altruism. No, it doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a B. Okay. Your analysis clearly explains your quotation. That analysis did not. Not at all. To me, that's C. Okay. Your context and quotation introduction strongly explains your quotation's backstory and sets it up for a clear understanding. So the problem is that the context is in the wrong places, but it's still context, and it does set up the quotation. But because it's not clear what's going on with it, see, it doesn't have clear understanding on how it's set up and organized. So in this right here, I'd probably give this a B. Okay. The implication sentence clearly wraps the analysis back to the topic sentence, and your transition concludes the narratio and smoothly links to the thesis paragraph. So when we look at that, how do these work? This is not a good transition sentence. This is better. The implications, I'm sure, wrote the paper kind of weird. And I don't know how this wraps back up into the topic, or if we go down below and we look at the thesis itself. Does this work into the thesis? So I believe it's important of understanding history and developing society for the better by indirectly contributing to its environment. So when we go back up here, does all this? Not really, kind of. It's not horrible. So I don't mind giving this a So right there, 82%. Okay, we're at a quarter of the paper between these two sections. Alright, and so the thesis paragraph. Okay, your thesis paragraph clearly answers the question about whether or not Octavia Butler's Bloodchild and art in general is a waste of time. So that's there. So if we come back here to the thesis, I believe art is an important part of understanding history and developing society for the better by directly contributing to its environment. Okay, that is true. That does a good job. That's the thesis right here. Although Southen understands effective altruism, he does not necessarily agree with it, and themes show in Octavia Butler's Bloodchild a prime example why art is significant. So this is not in the thesis. This is more commentary on the thesis. Okay, like I said, this would be a good support paragraph, topic sentence. But the thesis isn't that clear. And so how would I grade this? Your thesis sentence clearly answers the question whether, and it doesn't. It says art is significant, but it doesn't say Octavia Butler's is. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and just give that a C. Okay. Your mapping sentence clearly sets out what your paper is going to be doing, and it does. In this letter, I'll be writing about the belief system of effective altruists, the importance of creating art in modern society, and the improvements we can make in our world through the understanding of art over time. So that's clear. Okay, so that's a really good one. I'm gonna give A+ right there. Both your thesis and mapping sentences work together to paint a clear picture of how you will write your paper. I'm going to give this a B+, mostly because the thesis wasn't as clear as it could be. And your thesis paragraph is only 3 sentences long, and that's obviously not the case. So, I'm going to give that a probably. This one, because it's supposed to be B- C+ again. Okay, so you can see this one, 86%. Can you see what's going on? These are all B, mid-B areas for the paper, and you might be satisfied. The next thing, so that's how I'm going to grade those. That's really the only information that you have. Okay, and I can't grade the whole paper based on it, but we can grade enough. You can see that probably be, if the pattern continues through the rest of the paper, this will probably be a B. Okay. Let me go ahead and show you something I will be doing. In each section, I'm going to indicate the areas of improvement I think you need to focus on the most. And the first one is this one. Has to be. That is very important. So then I would color that. The best area is this one. So right here, green. So this shows this is the area you did the best. This is the one you need to work on. And the issue here is you have to follow the prompt. And your subject has to be clearly stated. In this one, the area that needs the furthest work, the analysis clearly explains your quotation, which it does not. Okay. And right here, the best area is this. So I'm going to go ahead and show that as green. And in this area, the one that needs the most work is that one. And then the best is this one. The mapping sentence was very good. Okay. And so that's, and then I would download a copy of this and send it to you, and then you'd have this to work on. Now, the rubric is pretty clear, and I've already posted a copy of this rubric up to files, so you could take a look at it and see exactly where you need to focus. And like I said, if this one continues in the pattern it was going at, this would probably be a B paper. You might feel satisfied with this. All right. Thank you very much for watching this. I will be... yeah, I'm very interested to see what you're doing. I'm kind of excited about your paper. Okay? Thank you so much, and you guys have a very nice day.